Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. This is American Horror Story 1984. Okay, this is episode 4. It's called True Killers. Okay, look, these twists and turns. I'd be like, no, oh my gosh, like what is really going on? Okay, what I thought was gonna happen, child, didn't happen. I was like, girl, it's so many twists and turns, and I'm here for it. Okay, so let's just jump right in. All right. This whole show was just like an anti-bullying campaign, okay? Y'all better not bully people or they go turn into Margaret, okay? Margaret is out here wilding, okay? Stop bullying people, okay? It's not worth it, okay? Don't go to camp no more. It's not safe, okay? But anyways, let's jump right into this, okay? So the scene opens up. We have Montana, okay? Remember last episode we saw that Montana was working with the Night Stalker, and we're like, girl, when, where, how did this happen? Okay, so they're telling us how it happened. So Montana was teaching an aerobics class. I mean, she was getting it, you know, everybody in there was getting it. She was having a good time with it. Okay. We see her in the mirror. She's just so into it, she slaps herself, turns around, still teaching it. I'm like, Montana is nuts. Okay. We see the Night Stalker come in, and he's feeling it too. He is like, look, this is my jam, girl. I'm liking it, okay? And they kind of flirt with each other, and then she goes to, like, somebody in the class is like, girl, like, can we have some pop music? This is too much metal music, okay? Like, I'm trying to get my body together, but I'm not feeling this metal, okay? And they, you know, they curse at each other, and class is over, okay? And so class is over, she goes to the locker rooms. While she's just, you know, in her locker, she sees the boy that she was fussing with in class. He is just strung up in the corner, intestines out, guts out. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Montana was like, oh my gosh. And so then we hear the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker's like, yeah, he was rude. You know, I had to punish him or whatever. And Montana's like, thank you. This is the sweetest thing anybody has ever done for me. Like, I'm really into it, okay? He's like, you are? Okay, like, girl, like, no, I'm not used to this reaction, okay? And so she has some blood on her feet, and he is eating the blood off her feet. I said, girl, this is a lot, okay? And they, you know, they do what it do, okay? And at the end, she asks him, would you kill for me? And he's like, girl, say the word. That's not a thing, girl. Of course, okay? So that's how they became buddy-buddy. But we find out that Montana is trying to avenge her brother's death, okay? Who is her brother? Of course, everything is tied together. So her brother is at Brooke's wedding. We saw that her fiance was thinking that his best man and Brooke was like, you know, getting it on or whatever. And Brooke was like, no, that didn't happen. And basically that was her brother, the one that Brooke was supposedly getting it on with, okay? And she blames Brooke for her brother's death because she thinks that Brooke was up there lying about sleeping with her brother and basically got him killed, okay? So she's like, look, Night Stalker, can you help me take her out because it's all her fault and I want her to pay for this, okay? He's like, girl, it ain't a thing, okay, boo? That's what I do. I stalk the night, baby. This is what I do, okay? And so we jump back to the present time, and we see that Montana's like, look, can you hurry up with killing Brooke? Like, I'm tired of seeing her face. I'm really tired of seeing her face. Can you get this girl knifed up or something, okay? He's like, girl, yeah, I will, okay? I just have to get in sync with what is going on in hell, and I'll be alright, okay? And so, cool. So we go back to the cabin, okay? And we see that Zay and Trevor are trying to, that is his name. I kept calling him PE teacher in the last couple reviews. His name is Trevor, okay? So Zay and Trevor are trying to heal Chet or get him like feeling better because, you know, he had the whole spike in his chest and everything, and he was still bleeding out, and your boy is like going in and out. Trevor finds some epinephrine, okay, and he's like, look, he goes to like try to stab him in the heart, and Zay's like, why are you trying to kill this boy? And he's like, look, this is gonna get his heart started, okay? And so he stabs him in the heart, and I'm like, we're all like, it's just a moment of silence for a little while, because we like, dang, Trevor, you just killed that boy, like, dang. And then, you know, Chet wakes up, okay? And we're like, oh, thank goodness, Chet. I mean, I love Chet. This seems like a hero, you know. Like, I want Chet to make it, okay? But, so Chet is fine. He's like, girl, my heart is racing. And he's like, everybody's like, look, your heart is working. So, you good, okay? Let's get out of here. Chet tells them that, basically, you know, Ray is a murderer. He told them all this stuff about him murdering a little boy and he's on the run. Xavier was like, girl, he's a murderer, girl. I was thinking my whole porn thing, like, that was bad, but this is worse. And they're like, what? And he's like, no, y'all. Like, okay, Blake was here for me. Blake came in a car. That's how we gonna escape, okay? And I was like, look at you, Xavier, thinking, okay? So they're like, we need to go get to this car because, you know, the keys are in the car. Boom, we can get out of here. Okay, then we get back to Margaret. She stumbles across the people that were faking like they were Jingle for like a prank, you know, and Jingle came and off them. She finds their bodies or whatever, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, okay? Trying to act like she thinks this is crazy, okay? And Trevor finds her, and he's like, girl, you know, it's crazy, okay? Everything is popping off. Like, I need you we need to get out of here. Like, we're gonna go escape in this man named Blake's car. Like, girl, we got a car to safety. Come with us, okay? And Margaret is like, nah, I can't do that. Like, I reopened the camp for a reason, okay? And the kids are coming tomorrow, and I want it to be safe for them, and I have a gun, so. And Trevor's like, all right, girl, I ain't got time for this, so he leaves, okay? He leaves, and she picks up a Jingle, one of the prank people, one of their face masks of Jingle, and she takes the blood and she puts a cross on it, on the face mask. And I was like, if we didn't know Margaret was a delusional, crazy psychopath, that kind of confirmed it. I was like, this woman is crazy. So Xavier, they've been looking for the cafeteria lady, Birdie, okay? Xavier makes it to the cafeteria. He's like, Birdie, girl, we need to get out of here, girl. It is crazy. Do you even know what's going on? And Birdie's like, girl, do you want some? Or you want some food? Like, I'm making some sandwiches. So, you want some sandwiches or what? Okay? And Xavier's like, girl, we got to get out of here, okay? Jingles is back and it's crazy. And so, when he says that, Jingles pops through the door, okay? Xavier hides underneath the table, and Birdie's like, oh my gosh, hey Jingles, you want a PB&J sandwich? I remember you used to like PB&J sandwiches. You want a PB&J sandwich? Okay, and he's like, he sits down, and she's making PB&J sandwiches. He picks up his knife, and he like cuts the sandwich, and he cuts the crust off, and Birdie's like, yeah, you never liked the crust. Okay, and they get to talking, and he's like, girl, why'd you come back? Like, you know, it was a mess when you were here last time. Like, why'd you come back? And she was like, well, I knew Margaret was crazy, and she's been, you know, crazy for reopening the camp. But then I realized that she, you know, she wants to make good memories here, and I wanted to help her and be there for her. So, please don't kill me, okay? And so, all of a sudden, Xavier wants to move around underneath the table. And so, he's moving around, and he has a flashlight. He drops the flashlight. And, of course, Jingles hears, and Jingles like, okay. Y'all gonna make Jingles come out right now. I was trying to eat my sandwich in peace. But no, you wanna act up, okay? And so, first of all, girl, Birdie, as soon as Jingles came in the cafeteria, girl, I don't understand why she didn't book it. Like, I'd have been like, okay, like, Jingles does not know how to run, okay? As soon as he would have came in that cafeteria, girl, I would have booked it. He'd be two-stepping through the woods. Like, it takes him forever to get from cabin to cafeteria, girl. Just book it, girl. It's no point of you sitting there having a conversation with this man making a PB&J sandwiches, girl. But anyways, okay, of course this is a typical horror slasher movie, so they're not gonna run, okay? It's just my dreams are not gonna come true, okay? So whatever. So he goes after Xavier, and he's like, you know, trying to slice Xavier up. And Birdie is trying to help him or whatever. Birdie gets knocked out. And we see Xavier gets knocked out too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, Xavier, no, okay. Jingles bops him right over the head, girl, and he puts him in the oven. I was like, it was one of them industrial size ovens. I was like, no, Zay, okay, he is in the oven on 500 broil, okay. It's not looking good for Xavier at this point, okay. And I was like, is this going to be Xavier's end like this? I was like, no, can't be. Okay, and so then we cut to Brooke, okay? Remember last episode, Nurse Rita had basically stuck Brooke in the neck with we don't know what. It had knocked her out, and we see that she is locked in the cabin, okay? Brooke is like, look, she remembers what happens, and she tries to, like, knock down the door. I don't know how her little body knocked this door down, but her little body knocked that door down, okay? And she gets to running through the woods, you know, typical, like, running through the woods, like, you know. And she stumbles across, like, some little booby traps or whatever. One of them she misses, and of course the next one, you know, it just hoops her up. And she's in this, like, net, and she's screaming and hollering, and Nurse Rita comes out. I'm still calling her Nurse Rita, even though we know she ain't no nurse, okay? She comes up and she's like, girl, you know, you really could have made it if you just went the other way, but you wanted to come this way, huh, girl? You know what? I did put some bear traps the other way too, so you would have been trapped, you know, either way, okay? And she was explaining to Brooke that, like, you know, like, I'm not Nurse Rita, girl, and you know what the tea is, like, I am trying to see, you know, this is a lab experiment for me, okay? You the lab rat. I let Jingles out, and that's just what it is, okay? And I'm waiting for Jingles to come and kill you. So I'm gonna stay in these bushes and see what happens, okay? So then we cut back to Xavier. He is still broiling in the oven, okay? He has all type of welts and burns on his body. He is just weak. He tries to knock the oven door down. It's not working because Jingles then put a ladle in the door handle. Just not gonna work. And I'm like, no, Zay, this can't be your end, okay? Thank goodness Birdie is still alive. Birdie takes the ladle out the door handle, and, you know, he's able to bust out. And we see Birdie's bad off. I don't know what Jingles did to Birdie, but poor Birdie was like, please, baby, just kill me. Let this be the end, okay? And Xavier's like, no, girl, I don't want to do it. And she's like, stop playing with me. And he's like, okay. And so he kills her, and it was like, I was like, no, Birdie, like, we didn't really even get to see you like that, but I still loved you, okay? Like, you saved Xavier, so you a real one, okay? Unlike Ray, baby, anyway. And we see Xavier sees himself, like, in the oven mirror, and he is horrified, okay? Because he's an actor, and he's all about his looks or whatever, and so now he feels like his life is ruined. I mean, we can see it all on his face. So I was like, poor Xavier, okay? So we cut to Montana hears Brooke screaming in the forest, and she's like, girl, did the Night Stalker get her? Like, what is really going on? Like, mission accomplished or what? I gotta go see, okay? And she goes to investigate, and she sees that Brooke is strung up in a net, okay? And she's like, thank the Lord Jesus. And so she's trying to get, like, into character, and she's like, oh my gosh, Brooke, and she's like, Montana, here, okay? And Brooke's like, oh my gosh, girl, how'd you get in the net? And she's like, Brooke's like, Nurse Rita is really not Nurse Rita, girl. She is crazy. She set this whole thing up, and she's working with Mr. Jangles, girl. Help me out of here. And Montana shook like, girl, Nurse Rita is crazy too, like me. Girl, what is really going on? Okay. And so she's like, I'm gonna go get help. Brooke's like, yeah, go get help. You know, go get me some help, girl. So then we cut back to Margaret. And Margaret, with her crazy self, she's in her office. And this is where everything pops off, okay? She's in her office, and she's looking at her little filing cabinet, and she pulls out a wooden bear, okay? And then we jump back in time to when Margaret was at the camp with her little pigtails, okay? And she was seeing that Miss Jingles was carving something, like, something in wood. And she was like, oh my gosh, girl, what's that? And he was like, it's a bear. You know, bears are, caring and loving creatures or whatever. And she's like, you was doing that for me? And we see some girls, like, teasing her or whatever. And she's mad. And basically, she gets to flirting with Mr. Jingles. And she's like, am I your bear? And he's like, girl, what? Okay. And he cuts himself, like, mistakenly with the knife that he's using to carve the wood. And this little nasty thing sucks the blood from his finger. Okay? And Mr. Jingles is loving it, okay? And she's like, will you do something for me? Like, will you protect me or whatever? And I'm like, girl, what? I know you like Margaret, she crazy. That's just all there is to it, okay? So we cut back to the Night Stalker. He is doing some type of devil worshiping ritual, okay? And Montana's like, can you stop all of this? Like, Brooke is in the woods by herself, strung up, okay? So our prayers are answered, baby. Go in there and do what you do. I want to see it. Like, I want to see this happen, okay? And he's like, okay, great, cool. So Montana, like, shows him where Brooke is in the forest. And, you know, Jingles is like, you know, she's like, I'm going to hide. And, like, you know, you do what you do, okay? And so the Night Stalker's talking to Brooke, and Brooke is scared. And all of a sudden, Mr. Jingles pops up, and he's like, girl, really? Okay. So the Night Stalker is like jealous of Jingles, and he's like, look, like, you made a name for yourself in the killing game. Like, I want to make a name for myself in the killing game too. So we're gonna have to fight it out like a duel, okay? And so they get to fighting, and then all of a sudden we see Montana and Nurse Rita are both hiding in the bushes. Montana runs up on Nurse Rita, and she's like, girl, like, I know what you're doing, and like, you gotta stop it, okay? And they get to fighting too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 fights happening at one time. Okay. You know, we see Nurse Rita was putting up a good fight, but we see Montana pop Nurse Rita in the head with the log girl, and she goes down hard. She goes down cold, okay? We see Jingles pinned the Night Stalker to a branch on a tree right through his mouth. And I was like, what is with this man and through the mouth? It is just ridiculous at this point. So we think the Night Stalker is dead, okay? For now, okay? So the next scene, we see Margaret praying, okay? And she's like, look, God, you know, I need a sign. You know, I'm trying to do the right thing by reopening this camp. But, you know, I'm trying not to be bad, but, you know, it's not easy or whatever. I need my prayers answered. Like, I need a sign, okay? And then Mr. Jingles pops through the door, and she's like, look, my prayers are answered, okay? Mr. Jingles, she acts like she isn't scared of Mr. Jingles or whatever. And Margaret confesses that back in the day, she killed everybody in the camp, okay? She was mad because they were bullying her, okay? And she wanted Mr. Jingles to kill everybody in the camp. But, you know, Mr. Jingles was not a killer. That just wasn't who he was, okay? But little psychopath Margaret was, okay? So she got a knife, and one night after they were, you know, making fun of her, she stabbed everybody in the cabin, okay, and cut their ears off and all this stuff, and cut her own ear off, okay, and strung it up on a necklace and put it in Mr. Jingles' little, you know, storage box underneath his bed, okay. Made it seem like this man went crazy from the war, and that was the reason why he killed everybody. He just went nuts and killed everybody in the cabin, okay. And so when the cops came, Margaret, you know, was the only one living, and she was like, Mr. Jingles did it, okay. And Mr. Jingles went to the, you know, psych ward, and they did like some shock therapy on this man, and like basically made him believe that he did these killings. And so he was thinking this whole time that he was this killer or whatever, and he realizes that Margaret is the real psychopathic crazy witch, okay. And so so when Margaret tells him this, Mr. Jingles is like, wow. So it was you, huh? So I can't believe it was really you, okay? And he's like, I'm not a killer, girl. Like, you are the killer. And she's like, yeah, that's the one, okay? And so he goes to, like, stab her. And, of course, she got that piece, okay? She takes the iron out, and she pops, okay? And Mr. Jingles is gone, we think, okay? I was like, dang, Jingles, I was really sad. Like, you really wasn't a killer. And we was calling you a killer this whole time. These whole 4 episodes, girl. Like, I'm really sorry, okay? But anyways. So we cut to Chet and Trevor. They're in the woods. Remember, they're trying to go to the car. So they're in the woods, and they hear Margaret's gun go off. They hear a gun go off, and they know Margaret has a gun, right? So they're like, girl, Margaret is in trouble. So they run into Montana, you know, at the same time, and they're like, girl, y'all, do you hear those gunshots? And she's like, yeah. Like, it probably was Margaret. So Trevor's like, I'm gonna go back and see what happened to Margaret. Like, y'all try to go find the car or whatever. So Trevor goes back to find Margaret, and he finds her in the cabin. He's like, knock on the door, whatever. And she's like acting like, oh, she puts the gun toward him. And he's like, girl, what happened? And he sees Jingles laying on the ground. He's like, girl, you did it. You shot Mr. Jingles, girl. Like, whoa, thank Jesus. Like, come on, girl. And she's like, yeah, he died, but after he killed you. And so she shoots Trevor, and I'm like, dang. You shot Montana man, girl. It's just like, I really hope he's not dead, but I think he really, really did, okay? But she shoots him and she cuts his ear off. You know, it's to play like Mr. Jingles did it or whatever. And then when that happens, she turns around and looks where Mr. Jingles was, and Mr. Jingles' body is gone, okay? So thank goodness Mr. Jingles is alive so he can avenge, you know, he can avenge all the hateful things that Margaret did to him. That psychopath, okay? So we see Xavier in the woods. You know, he's still hurting from his burn wounds, okay? And he stumbles across Mr. Jingles, and he's like, please, Mr. Jingles, don't kill me, please. And Mr. Jingles is like, I'm not even a killer. That wasn't even me. And he's like, girl, what? And all of a sudden, we see Brooke. And Brooke is there right by Xavier. And Xavier's like, girl, did you see Mr. Jingles? And she's like, girl, where is Mr. Jingles? What are you talking about? Like, let's go to safety. And so they find the others. And the others are right there. And we see that the car that Blake came in, that they were going to try to escape in, was burning. Okay, so of course Margaret probably didn't burn this car. I mean, gotta be, right? And Margaret is like, oh my gosh, Jingles killed Trevor and he got away. So we already know Margaret is just up to no good, and she is a crazy murderous psychopath, okay? And so the next scene that we have is that we think that the Night Stalker is dead and gone, because we didn't saw, the whole branch through the mouth situation. And no, okay, the devil done came through all those rituals and all of that, praying and all that. It worked for the Night Stalker. The devil done brought your boy back to life, and the Night Stalker is back at it again, okay? And so Nurse Rita saw that whole thing, and Nurse Rita is shook, okay? Because, she is a scientist, and this defies logic, okay? So that is all that happened in this episode, y'all. I say all like it wasn't like a lot, okay? But a lot happened in this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of it, all of the crazy stuff that happened. We'll discuss it in the comments. Don't forget to leave me a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I would really appreciate it. I love you guys, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.